on feeling like you were essayed but not remembering. So, content warning. This is from The Courage to Heal. This subsection is called But I Don't Have Any Memories. Usually, when women say they feel they were sexually abused but don't have any memories, they mean that they can't tell a cohesive story about the abuse. However, when they begin to talk in detail about their childhoods, they frequently relate events that are covertly sexual or even blatantly abusive. This is somebody's anecdote, and it's kind of graphic. I remember the first time I told my therapist how my mother would give me enemas. She would lay me down on the bathroom mat and talk really sweet to me. She was usually abrupt, like us kids were in our way and that she wished she didn't have to bother with us. But at enema time, she'd turn all her attention on me, stroking me, telling me what a good girl I was. She'd rub my legs, my thighs, and my butt, saying she just wanted to relax me. When I told my therapist about this, she asked me how often it happened. I told her every day as soon as I got home from school. I'll never forget the look on her face. She didn't have to say a word. You may not recall particular incidents, such as the one this woman describes, but you're likely to discover that you know more than you think you do about the environment in which you grew up. Specific incidents of sexual abuse don't usually occur as isolated blotches in an otherwise healthy family. You may clearly remember times when you felt used, humiliated, undermined, manipulated, or smothered. This is somebody else's anecdote. I've always remembered the violence. Dad beat Mom. It wasn't that often, but you never knew when it was going to happen. He was seething all the time. We kids would cower in the bed, covering our heads with pillows and singing TV jingles to drown out the noise. We were never allowed to have friends over. My sisters and I fought all the time. I was desperately lonely. As you explore what you do know about your childhood, you will sometimes remember more. There are also times when women don't have memories of sexual abuse because no specific incidents took place. Instead, you may have been subjected to environments of inappropriate boundaries, lewd looks, sexually suggestive behavior, or emotional incest. This is somebody's anecdote. My father made me his wife. After my mother died, he put me in her place. He'd send me bouquets of flowers addressed to my darling. He'd bring me fancy chocolates. He'd dress me up. He even bought me a ring with a diamond chip and put it on my finger. Everyone thought he was so devoted, so charming, but it was sick, and it left me feeling hopelessly confused. What little girl wouldn't lap up that attention? I worshipped him, but the underside of all of that adoration was a kind of possession. It's affected every relationship that I've ever been in. I was in therapy for 3 years, searching, expecting to uncover some great or instance where he had actually touched me. But he didn't do any of that. It was all emotional. Many women never recall all of what happened to them. There may be gaps and unknowns that become clear as your healing progresses, but it's also possible that there will be aspects of your experience that you may never fully recover. Fortunately, it's possible to heal from the effects of child abuse even if your memories are incomplete. One 38-year-old survivor described her relationship with her father as emotionally incestuous. She never had specific memories of any physical contact between them, and for a long time she was haunted by the fact that she couldn't come up with hard data. Over time, though, she's come to terms with her lack of physical memories. Her anecdote. Do I want to know if something physical happened between my father and me? Really, I think you have to be strong enough to know. I think that our minds are wonderful in the way that they protect us, and I think that when I'm strong enough to know, I'll know. I obsessed for about a year on trying to remember, and then I got tired of sitting around talking about what I couldn't remember. I thought, all right, let's act as if. It's like you come home and your home has been robbed and everything has been thrown in the middle of the room and the window is open and the curtain is blowing in the wind and the cat is gone. You know somebody robbed you, but you're never going to know who. So what are you going to do? Sit there and try to figure it out while your stuff lies around? No, you start to clean it up. You put bars on the window. You assume somebody was there. Somebody could come along and say, now how do you know somebody was there? You don't know. That's how I acted. I had the symptoms. Every incest group I went to, I completely empathized. It rang bells all the time. I felt like there was something I just couldn't get to, and I couldn't remember yet, and my healing was blocked there. Part of my wanting to get specific memories was guilt that I could be accusing this man of something so heinous, and what if he didn't do it? How horrible for me to accuse him. That's why I wanted the memories. I wanted to be sure. Societally, women have always been accused of crying grape. But I had to ask myself, why would I be feeling all of this? Why would I be feeling all of this anxiety if something didn't happen? If the specifics are not available to you, then go with what you've got. I'm left with the damage, and that's why I relate to the story of the burglar. I'm owning the damage. I want to get better. I've been very ill as a result of the damage, and at some point I realized I'm 38 years old. What am I going to do? Wait 20 more years for a memory? I'd rather get better. And then maybe the stronger I am, the more the memories will come back. Maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse. Maybe I've remembered as much as I'm able to remember without breaking down. I don't want to go insane. I want to be out in the world. Maybe I should go with that sense of protection. There is a survivor in here, and she's pretty smart. So I'm going with what's circumstantial evidence, and I'm working on healing myself. I go to these incest groups, and I tell people I don't have any pictures, and then I go on and talk all about my father, and nobody ever says you don't belong here. The process of remembering is different for every survivor. If you remember very little of your abuse or of your whole childhood, it may be hard to define your experience clearly. But if you are in deep pain, there is a reason for your distress. It may not be sexual abuse, but there's something for you to identify and address. You're not crazy to be feeling so much pain. Although the desire to know and name your experience may feel urgent, it often takes substantial time to explore and discover your past. Try to be patient with yourself. Don't rush. You can move forward in your healing in important ways, even if you can't pin down exactly what happened.